Now, hello, welcome to PAXTON Road TV. This is the PAXTON Road TV preview show for the game Tottenham Hotspur versus Norwich. Tomorrow kicks off at 2 p.m. I'm Sam Spurs for life, and I'm joined in the house again, as always, by the super PAXTON Road. No, I was going to say regulars. They are PAXTON Road. These two are PAXTON Road. Mike Hotspur Hustler and Sid Spurs. Welcome, gentlemen. How are we today?
Not bad. Right. Good performance.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's get that. Yeah, that's good. Right. Yeah. Well, firstly, as we were talking about earlier, just so Hotspur Hustler feels good because I know we was all kind of giving Hustler on Thursday. I've watched the highlights back, compressed highlights, and Spurs did actually look quite good in that game. I know didn't see all the mistakes from Davinson Sanchez, but there were patterns of play clearly to be seen. Corner routines, I think Conte's talked about all of that sort of stuff. And 3 games that he's played in the Premier League, drawn 1, won 2. So, like I said, started with a 0-0 away to Everton, followed by back-to-back wins against Leeds and Brentford. The question now to ask, and I'm asking Sid first, should this be 3 points tomorrow versus Norwich, a standard 3 points? I've already heard from Sean Hurl that he's not even going to watch the game. That's how confident he is. That is 3 points. He's going off and doing other stuff. Are you as confident as that, Sid? Tell me, is it 3 points tomorrow?
Right. First, this performance was good. It wasn't 100% top notch, but it was a good performance. We turned up, we scored 2 goals, we won the game quite comfortably. I think Brentford didn't show up, and I think Mike was going to say this as well, but I think even though they did not show up, we done what we had to do. Brentford won all that, but going into tomorrow's game, confidence is high, and it should be a foregone conclusion, to be fair, because Norwich were poor against Newcastle. Newcastle had 10 men and they couldn't break them down. So we should be going into this game very, very confident. But we are Tottenham, and I've been to the Tottenham Stadium to watch Tottenham Norwich, and everyone said 3, 4, 5, 6 nails, and we've struggled big time. But I'm hoping Conte gets them sorted tomorrow and we get the job done.
That's what I hate to hear. Mike, I know you were very, very complimentary about the team on Thursday, and you well should be. Like I said, we under Conte now, as we talked about, with three Premier League games unbeaten, 7 points from 9. I'll ask you the same question. Should this be 3-point lane tomorrow for us?
Yeah, it should be. I mean, Norwich, they're bottom of the league, aren't they, Norwich, at the moment?
No, Newcastle are.
Newcastle bottom of the league.
Yeah.
Oh, that boy. Got to smile at that. I think, Norwich, we should get 3 points. We're at home. We've got a bit of, hopefully, we've got a bit of momentum building in the league. And that in itself, I'd like to think that we can build upon that and continue this, hopefully, or start the continuation of sort of like getting some momentum and building upon the performances that we have done in the league. Europa's a little bit different, but certainly in the league, we're starting to look like a team. There's loads of improvement to be made, tons of improvement. But the fact that even though there is loads of improvement, we're still picking up points and winning games, I don't think you can complain with that too much. I think it'd be completely different if the performances were good, but we weren't picking up points. That would be an issue in itself. But I'm quietly confident. Well, I say quietly confident. We should be very confident tomorrow. We're at home. I don't think we've got any injuries from midweek, so going into Sunday's game, we should be taking this game to Norwich and picking up the 3 points.
Yeah, I don't even think when I've got a couple of the league tape, I don't even think I've put Norwich on there in terms of because I didn't have enough space on there. But they are 19. I think they've only scored 8 league goals, if memory serves me, and conceded 28, I do believe. We've scored, I think it's 13 now, possibly more, conceded 17. So our goal difference is improving. I think it's -4 now. I'll ask you this question then, Sid. Are we beginning to see the Conte improvements, or based on the teams that we've already played in the league, as I talked about, Everton, Leeds, Brentford, obviously not the teams that are high in terms of the form table, is it still a little bit early to see whether or not we've really turned the corner in terms of the games in the league? I know we've got the game next week against Rennes, and whether or not we go through, all the connotations to be looked at there. But are we now beginning to see some of what Conte is beginning to instill in this team? What's your thoughts?
Right. Just before I give you my thoughts, Juicy's put a point on there. I would not put my mortgage on Spurs winning any games at this precise moment. Yeah. So I wouldn't do it, not yet. But, you know, there's a process, and it looks like Conte now is getting his ideas across to the players. The players are now welcoming Conte's ideas, and I think they're enjoying training. So far, so good. We're winning games, like you said. We're unbeaten under Conte at the moment in the league. It's not the flowing football that we want, but with what he's got at the moment, you're not going to get that until he's fully put himself in that seat and it's ready and everything's in place. His players are there. That's when we'll see the Conte's football and his side. But I can't see, you know, he's getting tunes out of the players like Davis, Dyer. Well, Dyer's playing quite well now. Sanchez, not so much Sanchez, but certain players he's getting a tune out of. And if you can get a tune out of them certain players, then something's going right. Because Ben Davis wasn't getting a run in under Mourinho and Nuno. But all of a sudden now, is this the third or fourth? What is it, fourth or fifth game he's now started? Fourth game in a row. Would you have ever thought Ben Davis would start 4 games in a row? No, not me. So
you talk about getting a tune out of Ben Davis. He's getting like bloody Beethoven's Fifth Symphony out of him the way he's playing at the moment. I don't know what's happening. That's one of the players that I honestly thought he was. We've talked about Ben Davis in terms of his ability, but in this back three, he's played that for Wales. He plays that for Wales quite regularly, obviously, in that left-hand side. So maybe this is a natural position for him. I think that's probably obvious, but he does seem to have improved his attacking game as well, which is another thing which I was very surprised at. Him and Reguilon down that left-hand side have created a real good partnership, I think.
Do you know what? I don't know if you guys have noticed what you just said, Sam. I agree. There's a few games. Even my boy was like, Dad, what is Ben Davies doing as a number 9? He's getting further. He's getting so far forward. It's unbelievable. And the good thing about it is as well is we've got players to cover him. So Skip, Højbjerg tend to do the covering. So it's just weird how a left-sided centre-back is getting further forward than Harry Kane, which you would never have thought under any other managers. And I think there's a lot of belief in Conte. I think they're believing what Conte's got to say, what his training methods are. And in the couple of weeks he's been there, I think a lot of these Spurs players have actually sat down, apart from Dele Alli, because that video yesterday, I don't know what the hell. But anyway, I think they've sat down now and they thought, you know what, we need to take this shit seriously now because we've got a proper manager and he's got tactics, he's got his way of playing football, he's got the coaches in. I don't know if you saw it the other day, I think, was it against Mora at half-time? There was about 500 people in Tottenham coaching jackets, and I'm like, there's more coaching staff than players. But I think it's definitely.
I don't think they're all coaching staff. We've talked about that before.
I know.
Remember, some of them are hired to just, make certain people disappear if they're not performing. That's what I believe.
But no, it's looking good. The future's Conte. The future's bright.
Yeah, Mike, do you think? And I think I already know your answer about this, but obviously, do you think there's enough improvements to suggest that Conte is getting his message through to these players?
I think he's beginning to. I like with anything, it takes time, doesn't it? And this is their 4th manager in less than if you work it out, it's probably less than a year, isn't it? So, or just over a year, give or take. But yeah, I think I think they've been lucky in some ways, like the international break. You could argue it might have been a slight blessing because he got extra time to work with the team without worrying about any sort of Premier League games being played during that period. Burnley game was postponed, so again, it gave him extra time with the players, and I think that extra time, I think that's proving quite a blessing and showing its importance, because it's, as I say, it's just giving him extra time with the players, and I think they need that. I do think that you are starting to see Conte's philosophy. You can see like the small patterns of play. You look at the Brentford second goal. You could see that. You can see they've been learning that, or been going through that sort of drill on the training ground, and that, I think that showed. And you can see by Conte's reaction, he looked quite happy, and I think that's probably because they've been practicing that on the training ground, and they've been able to replicate that within the game itself. So yeah, I think things are starting to sort of slowly take shape. It'd be interesting. Like, we've got 8 games, isn't it now? Or is it 8 or 9?
8 left.
8 now, isn't it? 8
in
left.
December, yeah.
And all but the Liverpool game, I think, are very winnable games. Even against Leicester, I think it's a winnable game against Leicester.
There's a couple of fixtures, and I haven't put the fixtures up, but there's a couple of fixtures after this one. So Brighton away, then it's Leicester away, then it's Liverpool at home. Those 3 fixtures are going to test us, because the away games to Brighton and Leicester, regardless of what their form's like, their crowds themselves will help them through that game. Obviously, we know about Liverpool and what they're doing this season. So I think the next 3 games are going to show us really where we're at, I think.
I don't. Yeah, I think so. Maybe. I mean, it's still. I still think it's early days, but it will be a good test nonetheless, just to see where they are at as a team. Liverpool will be interesting. Leicester and Brighton. I think they're winnable games. I know they're tough places to go and travel to, but Leicester aren't. They are actually picking up.
I'm going to share this whilst you're going on.
Leicester are picking up a bit of form, and they're not looking too bad of recent. Brighton seem to be having a bit of a. I don't know. They seem to go through stages like where the games they're playing, they're winning or losing, or they're not playing very well, or they are playing well and picking up points. I think Brighton are one of those teams that probably don't travel so well away from home, which is, you could argue that about many teams in the Premier League. But I'm not going to judge Spurs on a game by game basis until this period of 8 games is done and dusted. Then I think I'll be able to sort of, in my own mind, think, okay, I can kind of see where Spurs are at now. I mean, we just got to win the games that we feel we should be winning, and then against the bigger teams, it just all depends on the day. What Spurs team turns up, whether the opposition of like the bigger teams have got players missing, etc. You just don't know. So,
100%, I agree. I'm just going to read out where we're at the moment. So we're 6th in the table at the moment. We're 13 games in. We're 1 game hand over all of the teams in the top 13, 14 at the moment. Obviously, the game against Burnley is the one that we've got in hand. So we're on 22 points. -4 goal difference, having scored 13, conceded 17. That means we're only 2 points off top 4. West Ham on 24 points. Win the game in hand, theoretically, we would go above them. But our game in hand is not going to be played till way into next year. So we might be like this for a little while. The 2 teams we just mentioned about Brighton and Leicester, both of them haven't. Well, Leicester have only won 1 in the last 5. Brighton have lost and drawn 4 in the last 5. So if you're thinking about it, we're saying their form's not good. Norwich, I think they've only picked up 1 win recently as well, but they've got a new manager in Dean Smith. So again, they have that new manager bounce. So it's not going to be, as I said, I would expect us to get the 3 points tomorrow. But again, with teams like Norwich, who have got a little bit of impetus, they're not bottom of the league, so they do want to try and claw their way out. They're going to come for it. Dean Smith's going to have them up for it. We know what he was like at Aston Villa. So with the games coming up, and this is what I'm saying, I'm just going to go on to the starting 11 that played against Brentford. With the games coming up, do you see any rest from that starting 11 of potentially any other player coming in? Because we heavily rely on these 11. I'll just go through those 11. So we've had Lloris, we had Sanchez, Dyer, Davis, we had Emerson and Reguilon as the wing backs, Højbjerg skipping midfield, Moura, Kane and Son as the front 3. Do we see any changes potentially for that game tomorrow because it's Norwich?
No, I personally think why change a winning team, and why we've got momentum. Why would you change it? Stick with what you got, unless somebody's carrying a knock, or for tactical reasons. Unless he thinks maybe like a Pookie or somebody or Cantwell, I need someone to mark a man-to-man job. Then you change it. But I personally don't think they'll change this. The only thing to be fair, I think Emerson got a bit of a roasting by some people for his performance. I think I've heard that they're calling him a Brazilian fraud now. I think he got it big time yesterday, apparently, on Twitter after the game on Thursday as well. Yeah. Apparently there was a lot of fans weren't happy with his performance. Yeah,
I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was amazing, but I didn't think he did anything wrong. We didn't concede any goals in that game.
No,
he didn't do that much, but he was okay.
Defensively, he was solid as well.
Yeah, but I think it just depends on Conte's mentality and whether he wants to give the likes of maybe Skip or Højbjerg a rest, Mora a rest. Maybe Bergwijn might get an opportunity instead of Mora. That's probably one. And you guys are going to hate me for this as well, and everyone else is going to hate me for it. But I can even see him starting Winks, to be fair, instead of
I can see that as well.
To give Skip or Højbjerg a rest, because I think one of them needs a rest, and you might just change it and bring him in, see how it goes. If it's not working, then you pull him off, don't you?
Yeah. So the enigma that we've talked about, and I'll come to you, Mike, on this one. The enigma that we've talked about, that player being Tanguy and Ndombele, is this? I think we talked about it before. There was an opportunity to probably play him in 10 minutes, 50. Is this not an ideal opportunity now against a team like Norwich? We know Norwich haven't got the best stats in the world, where they are in the league, etc., etc. Is this not a good opportunity to play someone like Tanguy? I can see what you're saying, Sid, and I do believe that Winks or Tanguy might come in for this game tomorrow just to give Højbjerg or Skip a rest. And I would look to rest one of them because we have got bigger games to come. But is this not an ideal opportunity for that to happen?
Yeah, if you're going to make any changes and rest players, I wouldn't change any more than a maximum 2. I wouldn't go any more than that. I'd keep the back 5 probably. I'd probably keep the back 5 as it is, because continuity and momentum, where they've kept a clean sheet, they're winning games. I think you'd be hard pushed to change that. And I don't think he'll change that back 5 or back 6. If you want to include Lloris. If he's going to make any subs, if he's going to rotate it with any of that first 11, I would think it would be Højbjerg or Mora. Bergwijn could come in for Mora. And to be fair, it might not even be a bad shout, because Bergwijn's quick and he's rapid, and his pace will cause Norwich difficulty, but it'll also make them think, actually, because if you got Son and Bergwijn on the counter, you're not gonna
100%.
You're not really gonna fancy it, are you?
True.
And Højbjerg, I think if any of the midfield deserve a break, I know he probably wouldn't want it, but yeah, I'd probably put him I'd potentially maybe put him on the bench and give him some rest. And I would probably bring in. I'm going to say it. I'd probably bring in Ndombele. If he can't. There's no reason why he can't come into that team and boss the game. There's only two players at Norwich that you've really got to sort of try and keep quiet, in my eyes, and that's Cantwell and stop the service to Pucky.
And also Max Aarons. Max Aarons is decent.
Oh yeah, Aaron. Well, he hasn't been playing that much, though, has he?
He's not been playing as well as he had been last season. I don't know if he's picked up any injuries over whatever, but he's still in. He's still played in the last. I think he played in the last game. I'll have to check that back. But I know he's still in and around their first team anyway. But yeah, he's a player that I've liked in the past, but not quite hit the heights as he has previous seasons. But again,
the thing with I don't think you'll find. If anything, you might find that Aarons might get swapped for someone a little bit more defensive minded, just because he'll be up against Son and Reguilon, and if he's attack minded, he could get caught out of position, get caught. Do you know what I mean?
He played the other day, by the way.
Yeah, he did. I thought he did.
Yeah. Cantwell's coming. I think Cantwell's not played. He's coming back from injury, but they're saying he's fit for tomorrow. Yeah.
He's a good player, Camo. I like him.
Yeah.
I like him as well.
I'd have him
like
at I'd have him at Spurs and
instead of Winks. Yeah.
I wasn't going to say his name, but yeah, I'd probably have him.
The thing is, though, we do slate Winks, but I know when he came on, I'm not going to lie, I slate him all the time. He's a player that, for me, he's either trying too hard or he's not trying enough, or he's just, I don't know where he is. But again, if we can't play these players to give certain players a rest, we've got so many games coming up. We're going to have to rotate before we get to January. This has always been my concern with the squad. If we go down the line of playing the strongest 11, we've got so many games. It's inevitable. Someone's going to have a bit of fatigue. Someone might pick up an injury. Then you've got to talk about yellow cards and stuff like that as well. I know that Skip's picked up a few yellow cards. So you don't want to be, getting into that sort of territory where players are getting suspended over this period when they're not available because of the limitations.
Didn't Skip serve his ban for the volume of yellow cards?
He's already served the ban. That's
so he's done that. But these are the type of games where you should be able to rotate like one or two players, like you say.
Yeah, 100%.
And you should be able to get away with it quite comfortably. But
well, looking at our results against Norwich, obviously they've been yo-yoing up in between the Premier League over a number of seasons. But just to go from top to bottom, so Norwich 1-0 the last time they beat us. February 2014 as a 1-0 win. And following that, we've had 3-0 victories at home, 3-0 victory away, a 2-2, and in the last game we played in March 2020 was 2-1 victory to us. So our record is obviously pretty good against them. At home, I would imagine that they're not looking forward to coming to playing us at the new stadium, etc., etc. But they may well be. It might be an opportunity for them to say, big stadium, 60-odd thousand people. Yeah, let's go. Dean Smith, the new manager, I keep saying the new manager bounced, but ultimately, the difference in the ability, talent levels of the players should come through, particularly for us in our home game. Should it not?
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
And I mean, although they've got a new manager, it's still the same 11, and he needs time to get his ideas and his philosophy, his sort of perspective on how he wants Norwich to play, and that's not going to happen overnight. So
I think what you said,
just got to be careful. We just got to be careful of players burning out, haven't we? And you just got to manage them correctly.
100%. I think what you said before, Mike, is if you nullify the Pookie getting any type of ball anywhere, then that's the job, because he's going to be the one that you're going to try thread the balls through, crosses into him, and if you nullify him, I think you've already won the battle and almost won the war as well, because he's their main man, isn't he? And if you can keep him quiet for 90 minutes, then who's going to score their goals for him? There isn't anyone. What
do you think about this comment here from Mojo? I think he'll give Sessegnon a run out to give Reggie a breather, as he's definitely putting the miles in, and he definitely is. Is that another shout? Because obviously with the mistake that he made in that game against Bora, it wasn't likely that he was going to be given that opportunity again. But I think maybe Sessegnon does need to play, because he's 21 years of age. He's got bags and bags and bags of energy, I would imagine, has played that last season. And Reggie has been up and down that wing a lot in the last few games. Is that maybe possible? I think Reggie's been one of our better players, and I'm not sure I want to take him out of the team. But because of that position, again, is it something that we might need to think about for the next few weeks?
I don't think he'll put Sessegnon in. I don't think he's going to trust him enough to warrant a starting place tomorrow. Maybe if the game's sewn up and we're comfortable 2-3-0 ahead, then I think he'll bring Sess on. But I can't see him starting, because what he did the other day, it wasn't the first 15 minutes. It wasn't his best performances. I know he'd only just come back from injury. It was his first game back, but the stupidness of the way he got them 2 yellow cards within the first 15 minutes. And the second one was not even a challenge that he had to make. So I don't think Conte, deep down, he'll be thinking, do I trust him enough to start him just in case he does something stupid? And then, lo and behold, it's not going to happen. We go down to 10 men, then it's going to be a struggle. Or do I just start with what I've got, who I know, who I can trust, win the game, and then just bring him in to get the game time?
Mike, anything on this one from John Fitzpatrick? Is there anyone in the chat, and anyone on this panel actually, who might want Kane out. And I don't know if you want Kane out of the club or maybe out of the team or both, really. I think Kane did all right in the game that he played. He was involved. Obviously, he needs to go. We know that. But his overall performance, still think he's dropping back a little bit too much. And if I was looking at that, I would maybe change it into a 3-4-1-2, maybe put Kane in that 10, and then have someone like Son and Bergwijn as top. I know that Conte's already talked about Stevie Bergwijn coming in as maybe a backup to Kane in the striker position because of the games we've got. But I would really love to see, as we mentioned, that pace, Son and Bergwijn up top, Kane and behind, threading the balls. That could work. I reckon it could work.
There's no reason why it couldn't. I mean, this whole thing about Kane dropping deep, I mean, he might be getting told that Conte might be telling, like the managers that he's had might be telling him to come deep because of his ability to be able to thread a ball through and pick a pass out, etc. His passing ability is very good, and you can't deny that he can thread a ball through a tight defence. How many times have we seen that through to Son and Bergwijn last season, etc. He's got it in his locker. I would still play him tomorrow, though. What I would like to see is if we are a couple of goals up, if Kane's got a goal or whatever, is bring Kane off, because it does look like he gets about the 75th minute and he's looking knackered. And I would like to bring on a fresh pair of legs, like you say. Bergwijn, if he's not starting, takes Kane off, put Bergwijn up top, and let us see what he can do as in a sort of number 9 role, or put Son in the number 9 role and put Bergwijn out on the flank in Son's place and swap them over, sort of thing. I think there's a possibility, and there is the potential that they could do that, because they're not bad players. Like Son, we've seen Son; he can play number 9 against City. Bergwijn can do it on the left or the right, and more on the opposite flank. I would like to see Conte just manage Kane, because the last thing we need is Kane to be out, and then we'd all be like, we're not picking up results here. Is that because Kane's not in the team? We're not creating chances. So, I mean, you just have to look at that. The second goal was because of Kane, really. I mean, that ball he threaded through to Reggie. I mean, you put it on a plate for him, really, and obviously Reggie just knocks it into Son, and Son taps home. But I don't want to see. Me personally, I'd still play Kane. I mean, if he's fit, his effort levels seem to be there, and he does look like he's starting to put in the performances. Yeah, he needs a goal, but Tottenham are a better team with Kane than without him, in my opinion. So
he asked a question this week, Conte, and his answer was, if I answer in an honest way, to start a game without Harry Kane now is a bit difficult for me. So there's your answer. He's not gonna drop him. Simple. No matter.
He knows if Kane starts scoring, and he's get the confidence back, then he's going to be the goal scorer for us alongside Son. So if he gets them two playing as they did last season, we know what happened in the combination that they provide, and get them playing now in the Conte system. You know that is going to be good for us going forward.
And do you know what? Sorry, go on, mate.
I was just going to say, surely it's a better problem to have trying to find a solution for Kane to score rather than us to try and not concede goals. I would have thought defending and keeping clean sheets, etc., getting the back line to work as a unit is far more difficult than trying to get Kane to find the back of the net. So
And this comment here from Mojo as well. Do you think Son has been playing more in the middle? Yes, he definitely has. I think that's part of the tactics that Conte's employed. You can see that when we get that transition, when we win the ball back, they're flooding players forward. Region, always one of the fullbacks is now getting forward. You can now also see Moore is trying to get up front. Son's definitely. Harry Kane, if he's too deep, is he always going to get up? But he looks like he's still getting up in there as well. I would imagine that on the right-hand side with Emerson, that he might have an opportunity to do that. Maybe didn't do that so much in the Brentford game, but I can see now that transition, they're getting numbers forward. Even seeing Højbjerg and Skip in a box at the same time, you don't often see that. And they were in the Brentford game. So there is clearly something being worked on in terms of that attacking transition, which at home stands us in good stead because we need goals anyway. We've lacked goals this season, as you all know. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can get some goals tomorrow. And obviously, because of that, great segue into this part of the show. Here we go then, gentlemen. Here we go. I'm going to go first this week. I'm going to go first so I get my score before you lot nick all my bloody scores, as always. I think this should be comfortable. Okay, let me take that back. I think it should be a game where we have a comfortable scoreline. Whether the game will be comfortable throughout, it will be maybe similar at parts to how the Brentford game was. You know, there's going to be parts where it's a bit dicey. But I think, again, I'm going to go for this 2-0. I like this 2-0. That's a great scoreline for me. If you win a game 2-0, it shows you've done enough. The team hasn't scored against you, and you're good. So I'm 2-0 for me. I'm going to go for Son and Kane in this one. I'm going to go for Son and Kane. Hotspur Hustler. What are you saying to me with the scoreline tomorrow?
I think it depends on how Norwich set up against us. I mean, they need points, don't they? Because otherwise, they're going to be struggling. So they need to start attacking teams more so than what they have been, and they have to take more risks, because if they don't take risks, then they're never gonna get that opportunity to be in an attacking sort of position to score. So if Norwich come at us, which I think I've got this funny feeling that they might do, I don't think they're going to just sit back and defend, because if they do and just invite the pressure on, they're asking for trouble. I'm going to go 3-0 Spurs.
Easy, Mike. Easy, Mike.
You guys, man. You guys are it's just unbelievable.
We've changed, didn't we? We've changed.
Yeah, I'm going 3. I think 3-0.
3-0. Wow. Okay.
Yes. It's good to see that we both got clean sheets there, because I think that's one of the things that I think we are going to get more and more of this season now, particularly, having seen how the defensive line has improved. There's still one or two suspects in there that maybe can't 100% trust. But if we do fill that position, obviously with Romero being out potentially till January, February, we might need to go into the market for that. Yeah. But so far, fingers crossed, we're all right. Sid, score prediction.
Right, do me a favour. Can you just bring up that slide with the last 5 games?
Sure. I will do that for you.
Thank you. Right,
there you go.
Okay. So they've scored in the last 2 games we've played against them. Okay. Do you know what? I was chatting yesterday on Ask Sid. We was putting this all to everyone, and everyone was saying 3-0, 4-0, stuff like that. I'm still waiting for that convincing all-round Tottenham performance, and we haven't seen it yet. It's got to come at some point, and after watching Brentford, who I thought would score against us, and I predicted they would, I can't see Norwich scoring against us, to be fair. Honestly, I cannot. And like I mentioned before, if we keep Pookie out of the game completely, then you nick my 2-0, you nick my 3-0. Right?
That's why I went first. I knew you lot were coming with them sort of scores. Yeah. So I wasn't coming last on this one. No chance.
This is the thing. Honestly, I cannot see us scoring more than 3 goals. I cannot see us. No, at all. No matter what. Right. Do you know what? I think yesterday on Ask Sid, Brian asked me the same thing, and I said 2-1. So I know I don't want them to score, but because you nick the 2-0, you nick my 3-0, I'm gonna have to go with 2-1. Sorry, everyone, if I'm saying Norwich are gonna score a goal, but blame them too.
I'll take the blame for that one, because I'm always having to blame someone when I go last and I get no scores that I want to put, so I've got to make one up. But anyway, I do think we're going to be. I think we're going to be comfortable in the scoreline tomorrow. We'll see how Norwich. I think you're right, Mike. Norwich are probably going to want to come out and attack us because they have to. I think they've got to get points on the board. They can't be not points. You know what I mean? So they have to have a game plan. But the thing with Dean Smith, he's a manager that does have a game plan. Maybe they might sit off, be tight, and then try and hit us on the counter. Maybe the second half if they can keep it 0-0. So that first goal. Really, really important. We get it. I think it's game over. Not game over, but certainly on the way to victory for us. If they get it, it might be a little bit more difficult. But
we've got. What I want to see tomorrow? If we score in the first 15 minutes, right? I want us then to take the game by the scruff of the neck and absolutely batter them. You know what I mean? Because that's what we're missing. Not none of this 1-0 up and then just sit back and let's try and get a second. If we score in the first 15 and then that was it, I just want them to go and just go guns blazing and just shoot the Canaries down, mate. Boom.
I think, with Conte, I think he's almost like, Jose, when he used to get that 1-0, 2-0, his favourite scoreline, I think he said it was 2-0. So once he got 2-0, it was all like, shut up, shop. I don't want him to score. I think Conte very much wants to keep clean sheets. Obviously, he likes to attack. But once he gets that like 2-0 scoreline, I saw him at Brentford. He was like, no, that was it. He's like, we're not conceding a goal. He didn't want him to concede a goal. And I think he'd have been very disappointed had they conceded a goal. So I don't know if he's going to want him to go on 3-on-4s. I think he wants to take these points and see who's performing, how they perform. Do they do what he wants them to do? Reguilon, it looks like he's doing it. Ben Davies looks like he's doing it. Dyer, Son, all these players, Skip obviously performing at level now where we can be confident that he can start in the first 11. I want to see all these players build on that, build on the performances so that when we go into the likes of Liverpool, we're thinking, I can see what we're going to do. I can see how we're going to approach the game. And that for me is more important than, tonking them 3 or 4-0 tomorrow. That's
what I was saying is, if you go 2-0 up, Sam, right?
Yeah.
25 minutes, you're 2-0 up, right? Are you then saying to me that he's just going to sit there and think, right, that's it, we've won the game, let's just now not concede a goal? Are you telling me he's going to tell his players, right, that's it now, just pass the ball around sideways, bring on Harry Winks, side to side, and we're
just
not
manage the game.
Shot.
I don't care what they do. If we're 2 or 3-0 up, I just want us to manage it. Just manage the game through.
You manage it, but then you managed it, but then you also try and get more goals, don't you not? Because we need to get the goal difference up.
So what I would say,
come up naturally, I think. But.
Naturally, I don't think they'll go chasing the game. And the reason I say that, if opportunities come to score, they're going to take the opportunity to score. But if you're 2 or 3-0 up with, like, let's say 60 minutes gone, that's a clear opportunity then to rotate players. Because of the numbers of games that we got, take a Harry Kane off, take a Son off, take a Højbjerg off, rest them players, and maybe you won't then get more goals, but you don't risk injuries. You go for games, there's always that opportunity of getting an injury, and then we're going to say, oh, well, we won the game 4-0, but Harry Kane's gone. Do you know what I mean?
Shooting tackles, overstretching, and
but then you got to see,
just manage it out.
You see the Liverpool point of view, and then you see the Man City point of view, where they don't care. They're 3-0, right? Let's go for the 4th. Let's go for the 5th. Let's just take them to the sword.
But they've also got things like, Jota who can come in, Firmino who can come in. They've got players that maybe we haven't got at this moment in time to be able to say, right, let's, and I just don't want us to have any injuries.
And those teams that you've just mentioned, they've been together now for a couple of seasons. Yeah. The vast majority of them, like, they've got that core where they know each other's game. Those players that come off the bench, they know what they're doing. They know what's expected. And it helps when most of them are, well, in Man City's case, the ones that are coming off the bench and coming on, etc., are pretty much world class, not far off being world class type players. I know Liverpool's a bit of a different situation, but they've all been together for a couple of seasons now, and they just know each other's. When you know each other's game inside out, it just becomes so much easier. And with a new manager like what we've got, I think we're nowhere near that. We're nowhere near at that level.
Not Liverpool's level. Not Liverpool's level.
So just manage to get the points. That's the most important thing for us at the moment, because we're in a different place than the likes of Liverpool and Man City.
We've got to maintain that push for 4th. That's what I think now. Having seen where we are, having to get that game in hand. I know it's not till next probably February or March, but we are in and around. So win a game. If you just, like you said, the old adage. Win your next game. If we do that over the next few weeks, particularly with those other 2 games, if we can get points off Brighton, get points off Leicester, that's putting them out of the equation in terms of, competition for us. Keep tabs on what West Ham and Arsenal are doing. Obviously, Manchester United. See where we are after that shakedown. If we're in and around that 4th, 5th, 6th spot without too many points different to 4th, I think we're in for a good shout at top 4, because I think that whether what happens in this Europa Conference League, I think Conte's probably gonna want to get into that top 4 to show, right, I'm here, I'm a league manager who wins leagues, let's see what we can do, Spurs. January comes,
and it's certainly make people stand up and take notice, won't it?
100%.
And one last thing on that, we have the potential tomorrow, right, if we're comfortably winning 2-0, to have then Mora, Son, Kane, Bergwijn on the pitch to cause serious damage, because them four can, on their day, if they're on form, they will cause serious damage. And having them four tomorrow, right, if we're comfortably winning, I think we could potentially see 5-6 if all four are firing on all cylinders. No, I'm serious. If all four of them.
Steady, Sid. I'm not that hyped yet. Sorry, Mike, go on.
The only thing that if we did bang in that sort of volume of goals, which I don't think we will, but if we did, I wouldn't want that to give false hopes of the fact that we have turned a corner and things are vastly improved, etc.
So stop it.
Jeez, he does look like without the hair. That's proper. Jesus Perez without the hair. Wowzers. I have to read this one out. Sid has a familiarity with him. He looks like Jesus Perez with no hair. Probably what Jesus Perez actually looked like by the time he left the club after 5 years of these players.
No, but what I'm saying is, if we do win 5-0, Conte's not gonna go in there and say, right, lads, next game I want 5-0. He'll be real. He'll keep it real. He'll say, right, you've won 5-0. That's a one-off. Back to business. Back to training tomorrow. We've got another game coming up next week. I want a 1-0. I'm not bothered. You know what I mean?
They just got to take their chance. If they get chances, they just got to take it. I mean, there's no saying that if Son and Kane each have a couple of chances and they hit the target, there's no reason to say they couldn't hit the back of the net. They are more than capable of of getting a couple of goals each. But I don't know. I'm just happy that at the moment where we are, let's just get the points on the board.
Get them points.
Reevaluate the situation. Get into January's transfer window. Get the reinforcements that we need in. Like for me, it's got to be 2 centre backs. We need 2 centre backs coming in.
But think of this one, right? Think of this one. Can you imagine if we won 5-0 tomorrow?
Why are you so obsessed with this 5 and 6?
I'm not.
What's going on?
Can you imagine even if we won 4 or 5-0, how confident that camp is going to be under Conte? Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I do, and obviously goals are going to make you confident, aren't they?
Yeah, and I can also see them going into that changing room and going, "Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move."
If they sing it like that as well, then they really are going to need to play very well in the next game after that. City's right, though. People are saying City's right. Juice Nuts is saying City's right. So there's people saying that we should be knocking that sort of numbers in against them because they conceded what they conceded 7 against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. So do you know what I mean? It's not out of the realms of impossibility, but I'm with Mike on this one. I just want to see 3 points, a nice scoreline, a 2-0. I'm good with that. I'm good, more than good.
A better performance than we've got. I just want to see continuous improvements in the performance. So I want to see a performance against Norwich that was better than Brentford. When we go play Brighton, I want to see a performance against Brighton that was better than Norwich. I just want to see. I don't want to see like improvements in the style of play. I want to be able to see quite clearly what Tottenham's plan is, and I just want to see improvements like that. I want another clean sheet. I want Sanchez to have a better game.
Those are the things.
Stuff like that. I just want to see improvements, and if we get improvements, I don't care in terms of the margins, in terms of the improvement, but I just want to see improvements. And if I see improvements, then I know we're on the right track.
It's a nice to have. Yeah. So Kim B saying, I was thinking 2-0, but now I'll be disappointed with anything less than 5. Craig is saying, I've got a feeling we're going to thrash Norwich tomorrow. And Kim saying, cheers for that, Sid. So you've now hyped up everybody. I knew this was going to happen. You're going to put us in that position now where we come back and let's say, God forbid, any sort of higher power forbid, whoever you pray to, whoever you don't pray to, if we lose tomorrow, it's down to the guy down there. It's down to him. Down to him. It really is.
Listen, we're not losing, right? And if we play our cards right, it might even be a steps and go 5, 6, 7, 8. You never know.
I'm telling you what. We've been here before. We have to learn our lessons. Please let us all learn our lessons from previously. We've got so many historical things where we're saying on previews, oh, it's going to be this. And what happens?
Yeah,
Don't forget NS Mora. Please
listen.
do not forget NS
Yes,
Mora.
but that was a weekend side, and let me just say 2 words: Antonio Conte.
Mike, do you want to say anything to this? Because otherwise we're going to have to finish now because Sid is going to jinx us.
If we do get jinxed tomorrow, please do not clip me up in this, because I am not saying for 1 minute that we're going to notch more than 3 goals. If we get 3, that will be a perfect, and we don't concede, that'll be a perfect result for me. If we get more, great, but if just don't clip me up. If anyone's watching this, just don't clip me up.
Yeah, I'm not having it, Jews. Jews nuts is saying Sam and Michael from AFTV so negative. Not having that, Jews. Nah. I'm not having that. No. I'm not having none of it. What Simon said. I'm going to see what Simon's saying as well now. If we lose, I won't blame Sid. Chris Callan is just as positive about the game as Sid is, and Chris looks like Pochettino, so he's one you have to throw the book at, not the assistant. Oh my God. Chris Callan looks like Poch, and then we've got Jesus Perez on here as well.
Chris Callan looks like Pochettino.
He does as well. I think we need to go. That's quite good. You need to get on Chris Callan's show, or he needs to come on here and have Jesus Perez and Mario Pochettino as our special guests. Wow, what a show this has been. I'm telling you what.
I can't remember who said it. Was it Jews that said AFTV? No,
yeah,
I've predicted a 3-0 win, just to make it clear, a 3-0 win for Spurs.
Yeah, and I predicted 2-0, so I'm not having that. Yeah, I'm not having none of that, Jews, about AFT negative. None of that. Anyway, Mike, Sid, let's look forward to the game tomorrow. Either way, it should be, looking forward to seeing the performances, looking forward to the team selection. Hopefully, Darius might be putting out a Paxton Road lineup show later on today. We'll be obviously back for the reaction show tomorrow. Look out for that 4:05. 2-0 Sam, 3-0 Hustler, and Sid had to go with a 2-1. But he's actually thinking we could win this 17-0. So let's see if that happens.
Sid, you going to the game tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
and you'll be hearing me going, I want 5, I want 6, I want 7. And I'll be doing the steps 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll be doing it. Don't worry, I'll be there.
If we do, though, that'd be good. I will be over the moon if we did. But I'll just take the win tomorrow. But anyway, like, subscribe, share, comment. Thank you for supporting PAXTON ROAD TV. Look out for anything. If you want memberships, go to the membership page on the community tab as well. Look out for all the polls that we've got running as well. If you want to get super chats in, put your super chats in as well. All the rest of it. Look out for Judge Jodi's player rating show on Monday, I believe at 8 o'clock. As I said, look out potentially for Darius's 3K later on today. Come on, you Spurs. Is it, lads? Is it come on, you Spurs?
Let's do it.
Come on, you Spurs.
Absolutely.
All right, then. Catch you later.